House Bill HB 2570. Short title, Licenses, Pandemics, Revocation, Prohibition. This bill was introduced by Representative Hoffman, and it cleared the House. It will be heard in the Senate Government Committee on Tuesday, and it barely cleared the House with a vote of 31 to 29. And folks, we're seeing a lot of this. It's common that people are voting in the legislature. They're voting according to party line, and this is no exception. All Republicans voted yes, and all Democrats voted no. Uh, Considering what this bill does, it is very. I don't understand why the Democrats wanted to vote no on it. I would think that they would be in favor of it, but then again, I'm not.
So, yes.
Yeah, I don't know how a Democrat thinks, but it doesn't make sense. Basically, here's the summary as taken from the House from the legislature's website. Does not allow, in other words, it prohibits the department, any other state agency, or a city, town, or county to revoke any license that is required to operate a business for not complying with an order issued by the governor pursuant to this section unless the department, other state agency, etc., can demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence that the business was the actual cause of transmission of the disease that is subject of the order. Now, that's a mouthful, even for me. Now, basically what it means is that if you cannot just go ahead and revoke a license if somebody doesn't comply with the order.
Well, I don't know if you recall, but I don't know, some months ago, maybe like last July or so, there was at least one business, and I believe it was somebody who ran a gymnasium.
Right, yes.
A gym, it said, not a gymnasium, but a gym. And he said, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna open up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think it was the governor, basically, that said, if you do, we're going to pull your license and you can't operate your business at all, forever. And that's what this bill is designed to circumvent. And I think from that standpoint, it's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We should not put somebody out of business simply because, and now, and the bill takes into account that if the business has been negligent, you can.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, if there is a clear and convincing evidence that the business engaged in something that they shouldn't have engaged in, you revoke the license. That's fine.
Right.
But you cannot do it just because you don't like the fact that they they were not in compliance with the order, which may not have been a valid order to begin with. So this is another one of these bills that is designed to establish a balance between what the governor can do in a pandemic and what he cannot do. And as such, you would think that all Democrats would be voting in favor of it, but they don't. I think they're just being Democrats. That's the only thing I can say.
Well, there is one thing I think that Mr. Hoffman might want to consider about making an amendment to his bill, and that is, if you read this code section, the code section has no provision for when an emergency declared by the governor terminates. There's no provision for it in this bill or not anywhere else in the code, where the powers of the governor to declare an emergency has a termination date.
There are bills, at least one bill, and I don't know if we're going to be talking about it today. We may even be talking about today. But there's one bill over there that establishes that within so many days, I believe it's 30 days, if the legislature does not renew it, that the order from the government does expire.
I understand,
So,
but I believe that bill was not passed. And my recollection is that again, Mr. Boyer joined with the other side and voted against that bill, and my recollection is that bill did not pass out of the House.
Oh, okay, that could be the case.
And that's why I
But-
bring this up about maybe he wants to change it so that there is some limitation on how long
Well-
the emergency declaration by the governor can last. Otherwise, it lasts until the governor says it's over.
Yeah, well, but what the bill actually addresses is the license itself.
No, I
So
understand.
at least, and this would be a good time to make an observation as to amendments. Uh, yeah, you can amend the bill at any time, but if the bill passed the first chamber, in this case it would have been the House of Representatives, and then it is amended in the Senate,
Has to go back to the House.
yeah, it has to go back to the House. So unless the amendment is really compelling, I would think that most supporters of a bill would be reluctant to amend the bill and run the risk of going back to the original chamber and not passing there. So uh, these amendments at this stage of the game are going to be rare. But regardless, we like the bill. It's a good bill in spite of its limitations, and we really recommend that if you're going to contact your uh, legislators, and we hope that you do, that you would request a yes vote on this bill.